with the mic. Is that good? Yeah. Okay. Well, many of you may know I'm Shawn Cross, some of you don't. So if not, I am Shawn Cross. And basically, I just wanted to say a couple of words. I am not a career politician. I have never held political office. I don't have a lot of political experience, but I consider that to be a strength. I got involved with this regarding the election integrity issue with Dave in November of 2020, and it has been a wild ride ever since. And so I have been at his side and watching and observing, and in particular over the last year since involving him as second vice chair, we have been very involved in speaking and visiting and doing paper ballot demonstrations and all sorts of different things. And so I decided that after seeing what I've seen, it's time for a big change, a monumental change, and I want to affect that by putting my name in the ring here. So with that, I want to be your new voice, a big, bold voice that's heard at the national level. And so I want to turn it over to you, and I want you guys to ask me, what do you want to know? Just let's hear it. I'll answer any questions you may have, but rather than a speech, I want to hear from you. Yes.
Yes. Could you tell us how you've been involved with election integrity in the last 2 years, and if you've spoken in front of the state election board?
Yes. I have been involved over the last 3.5 years through helping Dave with regard to all of the data analysis work, anything that he needed with regard to communications, email messaging, speaking out at the different boards, Gwinnett board as well as the SCB. I have spoken directly on multiple occasions at our Gwinnett board. I believe just one occasion at the SCB. But I have gone to all of the different meetings to accompany him, and any way I can support in his area I have done, as well as attend the paper ballot demonstrations and anything that has been speaking out at our Republican meetings as well. Whether I have spoken there or not, I haven't, but I have definitely gone to a large number of meetings with regard to that. So, next. Yes.
Election integrity is probably the biggest issue for me, but would you mind touching on other issues that you might feel strongly about?
Yes. I basically, have been very disappointed with regard to the, aspect of walking the walk and talking the talk. I understand that our representation says that they are grassroots, but in terms of being in the grassroots for the last, 3.5 years, and being involved with the different activities, I have not necessarily ever been contacted by any of, by my opponent to ask me what my thoughts are, what are the struggles that we're dealing with, how can they support, or how can she support me, what kind of initiatives are we trying to accomplish, and how can they participate with us to understand what we're dealing with and the struggles that we're dealing with, and then take that to the national level. I'm just disappointed that for the millions and millions, 460 million over the last several years that's been brought into the RNC, we have none that have come back to Georgia. No monies that have come back to defend our electors, no monies that have come forth to help us with these grassroots initiatives that we find to be critical to securing our elections, and I don't see that happening. So, with regard to the initiative that we have been pushing for paper ballots, I also find it very distressing that the measure of the RNC resolution to encourage the use of paper ballots in Georgia fell completely flat at the recent Friday proceeding for Brian Pritchard. I find that to be absolutely disgraceful that, I know Dave brought a clear box paper. They had, a desire to have 2 individuals on each side to count those ballots and keep them in the room, not let them out of their sight. And yet there was not enough participation. I think, less than 10 votes to do paper ballots. And I find that to be just sad and unacceptable. And so if the, resolution is going to be in a situation where They are encouraging Georgia to use paper ballots. That was a perfect opportunity to do so. And it should have been done, and it wasn't. So that's another area that I have a problem with. But to me, the biggest thing that is most weighing on my heart is we have had 8 years of the same representation. We have had 8 years, and 8 years has brought us to where we are today, and I find it to be a terrible place to be. We have 2 children, 21 and 24, and they are embarking on a difficult journey to make it in this world. And we need better, and we can do better, and we should do better. And I can't just sit back and expect somebody else to do it, because that's not working. But what I can say is that the change that we need, just like Trump said, got to clean it out. We need new voices. The establishment needs to go. Rana's gone, and I think we need to do that same situation here. And I want to be involved at that level to represent the grassroots that I have been a part of, and I want to speak to that on a national level. Next. Yes.
Georgia's 30% African American. How would you reach out to the 30% of our state to try to get them to vote for Republicans?
I think that we just need to go and sit down with these folks at their coffees and their dinners, and to go and sit down and talk to them about why they're frustrated, and listen, seek first to understand in order to be understood. So I wanted to do that. We have so many so many opportunities to sit down and have dinners with people, and sit down and understand why they're so frustrated. Have they voted? Why don't they vote? What is the reason? What's holding them back? Because in many cases we do share their same values. They do want to be able to be engaged, and they don't understand sometimes where to go, what to do, what the process is, and it's so easy to understand if it would just be communicated properly. One of the things that I've noticed in being involved in the Georgia GOP is that we feel like we're often groping in the dark. We've been involved to learn where we have to go to become a delegate, and then sign up for the county convention, go to the district convention, and so much is not communicated to us. Where honestly, I've got people asking me, now wait a minute, we just went to convention last year. These people were elected for a 2-year term. It's a whole slate. Why are we going this year? What are we doing? And I kid you not. I mean, I had to learn, to ask multiple people, and he's second vice chair, and that's great. But I did learn, and now that I understand, I think that we have got to do a better job at communicating with our members, and I just I don't know why it's so hard, and honestly, I'm not exactly sure whose job it is to be doing this, but I know that there's been a struggle to understand minutes. Everybody's asking, where are the minutes of this meeting? Why can't I see the minutes? Isn't this supposed to be public? I don't have an answer. I'm not there, but it should be done. So, yes.
Have you ever been involved at a lower level of leadership within the county Republican Party or Republican Women's Group?
No, I have not. No, I have not.
Any reason why?
No, to be honest, I've been busy raising our children and working. We started our business back in 2016, and it took everything we had and then some. And so I have not had the capability to be involved at that level. And when the election happened on November 3rd of 2020, that was the wake-up call. We literally had 2 children leave the nest. I think we were empty nesters for maybe 3 months, and then the election baby came. We are proud owners of the election baby, and election baby resides with us. So anyway, it has been a whirlwind of activity and quite a ride the whole time, but that is why. Yes?
I was going to ask you a question, but you sort of answered it, saying that you really don't have the experience to step up. Have you ever read, I want to know, have you read the rules of what it is to be a national committee?
Yes, I have, whatever I could find of the rules. It's very hard to find information on the position. Well, I Googled it too, and I'll tell you that my strength is the fact that I don't have experience. I am not a career politician. So anyway, yes.
I spent the last 2 elections in Fulton County, watching count ballots. What struck me was the 10x zeal those voters had down there versus much more than us up here because we're more successful. We're not as zealous. How at the national level are you going to get more zeal in the Republican base?
The only thing I can tell you about that is that when I go, I do not listen, to, just sit down and be quiet and go in the corner. I am tired of knowing what I see to be reality in front of my face and it not being represented, local, national, whatever the case is. I am not afraid to speak my mind. I know what I see, I believe what I see, and I know the data that he sees. And so I know what needs to be done, and all I can do is promise you that I will not back down, I will not sit down, and I will not, cover my eyes to what's going on in front of me. It's unacceptable. What is happening in this country to Trump, to us, to our freedoms, to our borders, to our economy, it is a disgrace, and it takes more people to stand up and not just vote. Voting is not enough. The system is rigged. We all know it's rigged. Voting is not enough. And so I want to get engaged. I am doing my best. But what I also have a problem with hearing is, everybody needs to get up and get engaged and get off the couch and get involved. We try to get involved and then you're told, you don't have the experience. Well, you know what? I'm trying to get the experience. And I am trying to step up and be a voice and a strong voice that's going to do more than, deal with I support a resolution to use paper ballots in Georgia, and then what happens? What happens? When are we going to use the paper ballots in Georgia? I want to use the paper ballots in Georgia. Let's go. So anyway, yes.
Are you in favor of the electronic voting at the Georgia?
No, I am not. No, I am not in favor of that. I would love to use paper ballots, and I'm trying to learn and study up on the Robert's Rules of Order to see if that's even a possibility of us being able to make a motion on the floor. I know we better be at those mics and be there quick and have people standing behind us because you better get a second and I know, it's quick, but it's confusing and I'm trying to learn. Yes.
What will you do differently that your opponents have not, that your opponents have done? Like, would you have supported Ron McDaniel in 2020 when she was running for re-election after what happened in 2020 under her watch?
No, I don't think that I would have been impressed with what Rona was doing. I think that's why she's out. All I can say is I don't have a whole lot of interaction with my opponent because, like I said, I've been in grassroots. I have not been approached. I have not had direct conversation. I did meet her tonight, and I appreciate that. But I don't really have a deep understanding of, what, she would present to me as far as being an advocate for me in grassroots because I haven't talked to her before. So all I can say is not necessarily what would I do differently. What I would do myself is I would listen to the individuals that I represent. I am out on the ground with them. I'm going to their events. I'm going and I'm listening to what they're saying on the ground because I do have a pulse of what they're trying to accomplish, and I want to be able to do that effectively on the national level. And I think the most important thing is when you get to the national level and you're in these conventions, you speak loud, you speak firm, and you don't back down.
Yeah.
So directly in light of that, there are signals that indicate that they may do anything to Trump to prevent him from being able to get to the nomination and get to the actual election. Do you guarantee that no matter what, you will keep your support firmly on President Trump?
Absolutely, firmly, unequivocal, absolute support. And with that, I definitely appreciate all the questions. I hope I answered them all. If I have not, and there's anything you wish to address with me, please feel free to reach out to me. My phone is always available. We're on the phone all the time. My mom can actually attest to that. So anyway, and feel free to reach out by email as well. So thank you.